So today's advent calendar is the Centurion 5.1. When we were speaking about the STRV 81, we said about how the Centurion 5.1 is just basically this, but better. And it is true. This tank is better. It's also cheaper. Substantially cheaper, I might add. About £6 cheaper. This is going for about £21, £22, whereas the STRV 81 was going for about 27. So, yeah. You're getting quite a good deal. So, here they are in the comparison. We've got two different builds here. Both of them are not using food. One is using optics and one is using vents. As you can see, the one using vents gets pretty close to that 445 meters view range. So, those of you that don't really want to use optics and want to kind of have more damage output and, you know, just a bit better everything else, whereas the other people that might want to play it kind of more at a distance, but not obviously too far back, because then you're kind of ineffective. But the ones that want to spot for themselves quite a bit, you can obviously choose this. Exactly the same kind of loadout. Got full crew skills, but as I've said a million times, crew skills don't really matter because you will get them extremely fast on a premium tank. So we do have obviously a rammer and V-stab with this, the two kind of ones that every single medium tank should pretty much have, because you're going to go into the battle and you're going to be brawling, especially in this tank. It does have some nice armor, so yeah, you're going to want to have that rammer to kind of boost up the DPM, and then the V-stab to help you with those shots on the move or just when you're turning your turret in general. But using the vents does help out quite a bit, as you can see. Obviously 0.3 accuracy, and if you use food, it just gets boosted up even more. And I would say that using food is probably the best thing that you can do on this tank, because yes, you're going to be losing 20,000 credits if you don't have it supplied. But honestly, if you're a type of player that gets good average damage per game, you're not going to see that massive loss in credits. You're really not. If you aren't such a good player or a bit more inexperienced, then don't use food. Learn the game a little bit more, and then you can use food. Because otherwise, if you don't get, you know, that good average damage, you're just going to break even or not even make credits. I mean, to be fair, during the Christmas event, you'll probably make credits even with food, even if you don't do any damage. But yeah, it's food is really, really good. And will just help you out, and you will get more damage per game if you use it. For field mods on this tank, I recommend you go down the right side, and then you go for improved sight as well to get that accuracy down even more to 0.28 if you're using food. And then for the last one, you can kind of decide for yourself. The problem with this last field mod is that you get okay camo at 25% and 20% on the move, but do you want to boost it up? And then you increase the repair time for the suspension, for the tracks, and then you lose a little bit of, top speed? Or do you want to use the turbocharged tuning, where you don't really lose that much camo, but you do gain nice repair time? Or you could just not choose it at all. So it's kind of down to you. I probably wouldn't even choose it at all. I would just leave it as it is. Although, if you are going to be brawling in close quarters, then, yeah, like that could help you out. So, I don't know, it depends. And obviously, the category slot is going to be scouting or survivability. Always choose scouting. There's no real point of choosing survivability, in my opinion. It's just not going to help you out, honestly. And then once you choose that, you can go and choose optics, obviously, and you get 500 meters view range if you're using food. And without food, you get 481. So how does this thing compare to the STRV 81? Well, you get the exact same gun. Like, you can't get away from this bad DPM, no matter what you do. It's going to be exactly the same stats as the STRV 81. However, the armor values of this vehicle do increase massively. On paper, they don't look that good, but the difference in the hull armor, especially at the front, you're going to bounce a lot of shells, especially at kind of your own tier and below. As you can see here, this is about 200 millimeters thick, effective, 180 to 200. So anyone with, you know, your own tier with around about 200 pen, which is seeming to be quite a few tanks nowadays, especially considering that you're going to be fighting medium tanks and whatnot. They'll bounce off the upper hull. The lower plate, obviously, it's 100 millimeters. You're going to get pen there pretty much every single time. But tier 6s that don't have that 200 pen, yeah, they're going to have a hard time going through your upper plate. And the turret armor on this is not great. Obviously, you can still get penned in the mantlets either side, and the commander's hatch, obviously, at the top here. So it's not great in kind of the fact that the turret, but the hull armor is a massive improvement in comparison to the STRV. And you can side scrape in this thing pretty well. You can even see that it kind of bows inwards. So you can actually get away with over side scraping a little bit, but not too much. And the mobility on this vehicle is just better. There's no other way of putting it. It goes at exactly the same speed, but you get better power to weight. So you'll get to that top speed faster than the STRV 81. So do I recommend this tank? Yes. It's a good tank. It's amazing. Is it better than the Progetto? No. Nothing's better than the Progetto. And I have to say this at every single advent calendar. If you're waiting for the Progetto, put some money aside. It's probably going to be around about £30. So translate that into whatever it is in your currency and just leave that aside separately. And if you really want the best of the best for making credits, it's the Progetto. At least for medium tanks. So if you want the Progetto, put some money aside. And whenever it goes on sale, it might not be in the advent calendar, it might not be early next year, but at some point it will go back on sale, and then you can pull the trigger and buy it. However, if you do just want a nice tier 8 premium that will earn you a bit of money and is relatively cheap, you can't go far wrong with this. So hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully you're having a good one, and I'll see you all tomorrow for another advent calendar.